So what I'm doing right now, I know as an admin, it's like we don't get to see what your members can see because we're admins. So we kind of get to see that master list of everything.
Yeah.
But for me, that makes me feel uncomfortable because it's like, well, I want to see what my members are going to get to see. And so we get to do that. We can just come into one of your members' profiles. David is an active member. And if I go to our actions dropdown, I can assume his profile. So what that means is I get to see everything on the front end of the site just as David would see it.
Awesome.
So when David logs in, this is what he'll be greeted with, his little name tag that's got his data merge information in. This is actually pulling from an article called the member landing page, which we can update to give him some instructions on what he's going to be doing in this area. So the first part that we really want to take a look at is my profile. Now this member menu is completely editable. We can change what's located on here. So if you want to put, instead of like the event calendar, since you've got a link over here, or the community forum, because you guys probably won't use community forums, you might want to put some links like member resources and kind of have more member specific content that only your members can view, just an example.
Okay, are we locked in on the number of menu items there, or can we have fewer or more than what you have listed?
We can have fewer or more.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'll come back and I'll show you how to edit that when we get towards the end. I'm going to go to my profile, and this brings us into David's profile. So this is exactly what he will see. So this is going to list how long David's been in the system, the last time he was online, how many profile views he's received. Down below this is going to list all of those pieces of information that David could potentially edit. Now, I haven't given David the permissions to edit anything in his profile. That comes from the profile owner attribute security. So what I would suggest is, well, obviously making sure that's done, which is on our go live checklist. So we'll have to make sure it's done before we can go live. But anyways, he will be able to edit his information in here once that's done.
Okay, great.
Are you on Facebook by chance?
I am.
Perfect. So a lot of this has some similarities. David can post a status, same thing that you can do on Facebook. People can write on his wall, same thing that people can do on Facebook. Over here in this right-hand column, this is going to show the most recent photos that have been uploaded, and then this area is going to show the most recent circles. So there's two kind of new words that I'm going to introduce to you. One is circles, one is connections. We'll start with the easier one. Connections are the same thing as having a friend on Facebook, but in member clicks, you have a connection. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. The second word, circles, it's kind of like a big group chat. So I can come in, any of your members can have the ability to come in here and create a circle, and they can make that circle around any one subject that they want to. Most oftentimes I see carpooling for an upcoming conference, or hotel accommodations for a conference, meeting agenda, or something like that. I also have had a lot of associations recently have an admin such as yourself create a circle and call it new website feedback, and it's where your members can post questions that they have about the website. I think that can be helpful because let's say you got somebody in their 30s or 40s in your site and they're more tech savvy. Maybe you have somebody in your 70s who's a member. That 70-year-old may not know how to update their profile picture, but that person who's a little bit more tech savvy might be able to. So if that older gentleman or not as tech savvy gentleman posts in your circle, hey, I need help uploading my profile picture, one of those additional members who have a little bit more knowledge on technology could get in there and answer them. And that's not putting all the weight necessarily on your shoulders for getting back to all those questions in your personal email. Does that make sense?
It does. So when I create a circle though, or someone creates a circle, can all of our logged in members see a list of all of those circles and pick and choose which ones they want to join?
They absolutely can.
Okay, could I make a closed circle if I wanted to? Like say I wanted to have only a board discussion for only my board members. Could I make a private board circle?
You absolutely can. So in that case, somebody would have to send you a request to be a part of it, and you could deny or accept it.
Okay.
So our circles can be open, so anybody could join it and they're just in, or they can require that approval. In addition to that, though, we also have a function in our social community called committees. Committees are a little bit more of a secure, safe place. You can only invite people on the back end and the administrative side. And it's a safe place for you guys to send messages to one another, and you can also share files.
Okay.
So I'll show you this committees. It sounds like the committees piece might be a little bit more better, a little bit better for what you're looking for a board of directors.
Okay. Okay. What about something? Okay. What about something like when we're doing our online syllabus for the attendees at our conferences? Right now, I'm sharing a Dropbox folder so that people can get access to the slides that our speakers have shared with us. Is there an opportunity on this site for us to do that here rather than using Dropbox?
Totally. So is that something that you would share with all members, or you would only share with like board members?
I would share with all meeting attendees.
Do the same people attend meetings every week, or does it change?
It changes. And it's just it's an annual meeting.
Excuse me. So you could send that to them in an email. So what you could do is save those slideshows, those PowerPoints in your media manager within MemberClicks, and then you could send them an email and make internal links to all of those.
Okay.
That would be one solution. I mean, technically, we could create a link, like on that member menu that we looked at a second ago. The only thing there is that member menu, the link in the member menu, the permissions can't be, well, we could create an additional group. Yeah, so we could also make it a menu item. So we could share it in an email or make a menu item on the member menu where your members, those particular members, we can give them special access to view it, and they can access it there.
Okay.
So short answer is yes, we can do that.
Okay, great.
Okay. So circles, this is where all those circles are going to pop up. We're going to look at those in a little bit more detail in just a second. Okay. Your members can do all kinds of cool stuff. Starting here, they can change their profile picture. There are some limited privacy settings. So you can set a default privacy setting on the back end, which I will show you. The default right now is that all of social community can see everybody's connections, and all of social community can see everybody's photos. As an individual, I can come into my profile and say, I only want my connections to see my photos, and I only want my connections to see my connections.
Okay.
So it's really a simple privacy piece. So here's that start a new circle. So if you don't want your members to have the ability to create new circles, I can take this link away from them. If you like the thought of them being able to do this, then we can select start a new circle. It kind of walks them through the different steps. So like if I hover over circle name, it tells me what I need to do. I would just put in a circle name. I can add in a description. We can choose a category. Right now, there's only one category, which is main. You have the ability to create additional categories. So like additional categories really aren't necessary if you've got 5 circles, but if one day you have 50 circles, then you might want to have some organization to them, like this is for conferences, this is for personal, this is for, annual meeting, however else you might want to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
We get to determine the circle type, whether it's open, anyone can join and view, or whether it's private, this circle requires approval. discussion, how you want the discussion ordered for the circle, whether it's by creation date or by last replied. If you want photos to be able to be uploaded to the circle, how many circle photo albums you want per circle. Each circle can have 500 photos uploaded to it. So we've got some crazy space. And then this just determines notification. So do we want a notification to go out every time a new member's joined, every time a join request is sent, every time a wall post is created?
And those notifications would go to everyone who's in that circle, or to me as the admin?
To everybody that is in the circle.
Okay.
So these can get a little excessive.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. So, when a new circle is created, is there an owner of that circle? Is it owned by the member? If we decide to allow members to create these circles, does that member own the circle?
They would be by default the admin of the circle.
Okay.
That can be changed. So I'll show you on the back end. If you see like, oh, well, Tom, he's always the class clown, like he can't have a circle. You could always like delete it or say, hey, Tom, we're going to make, I'm going to be the admin of the circle because that's just my role, or, something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm just imagining that we have someone create a circle or 5 circles, and then they leave the state and leave our organization. Then we have all these circles out there that we can no longer control.
You as the admin still have control.
Okay. So it's kind of like a joint control, the person who created it and me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It is. I'll show you. Yeah. I'm going to use my MemberClicks test site in a second because I'll be able to show you what they actually look like when they've been built out. This is somebody that I know she's got a lot of stuff she's done in here. So we'll take a look at hers in a second. You can also view all circles, view my circles, view pending invitations to your circle. You can search circles. You can create new. All circles, so even if there is a private circle, you can still view the circle name and the description of the circle. You just have to be accepted to join before you can actually join. Okay.
Okay.
I am going to go to back to my profile. So they can also upload photos from here, and then this little small piece, they can send direct messages, just like you can send direct messages on Facebook. You can write messages and then view your inbox. So review the messages that you've received.
Okay, back to that write a message piece. How do they find the people that they want to send a message to?
So under connections, we have, you can show connections. Obviously, David wouldn't have any because he hasn't connected with anybody yet. So he might want to browse the directory. And this is because we don't have, the attribute security done. Let me do this really fast. So David is what type of member was he? Attribute.
I think you said he was an active.
I think you're right. So if I give him the ability to view anything. So once again, this directory piece is pulling from the profile owner and attribute security. Let's refresh. Ta-da! So
okay.
Now he can sort through these members, and you'll notice he can add them as connections or write a message. We'll have to work on security to change some of this. It shows you how many connections each of these individuals have. You can click on their name and view their profile. Of course, this comes from that attribute security as well as to what we can view.
Okay. And is it like Facebook where people have to accept your connection request?
That's exactly right. So you can look at your requests that you've sent people, and then you can look at the requests that are pending your approval.
Okay, sweet.
You can also do an advanced search. So this will allow you to search your members by attribute. So once again, this will be limited depending on what we've selected in the attribute security, but if you want them to be able to search your members by degrees, they could do that.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
Nope, sorry. I was confirming. I've got it. We're good.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So this is kind of all about making those connections, is under this connections tab, and then they can view the requests sent and pending my approval under here as well. Some of my favorite features of our system is under my profile. This is a little upsetting, sorry. Why wouldn't that be there? So they're going to view, I'm just going to take you back to until we get all that done. So I'm not having to switch back and forth. So they'll also be able to see under my profile, they can change their profile picture, change their privacy settings, change their password. They can also set some contact preferences. So they can really decide exactly what kind of emails they want to be receiving and what kind of emails they don't want to be receiving. There's this forums piece in here, which once again, probably won't be using, but we can look at if you want to. And then lastly, your member does get to decide if they want to unsubscribe from all of your emails. And so if they unsubscribe, no matter what, they're still going to always receive renewal notifications and form confirmations. And then we've got our message history. So we all have inboxes that fill up with like spam a million times a day. So this is really cool because they can actually come into their message history and view all of the emails just sent to them by you or by member clicks. And so they can come back in here and say, oh, I know they sent me something about the annual conference. I don't know what I did with it. It's going to be sitting right in here for them. All emails forever. They'll never be deleted or go away.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
And it's probably going to take a second to load. There we go. And we can just view that. We've got invoices. So this is going to keep all of our invoice history. This is really cool because they can come in here and pay an open invoice. Or they could even look at a paid invoice. And there's a download invoice option where they can download it and print it off. And then lastly, they have this form submissions piece. So this is going to show them every form submission that they've ever completed in MemberClicks and the invoice associated with it. Kind of fancy.
I like it.
So we already looked at connections, and we've got my features. So this is once again where they can view circles. In MemberClicks, we've got this individual as part of the general discussion circle. It shows you how many members are in the circle, how many discussions have taken place, how many wall posts have taken place. We could click into this. So this is what it would look like for your members, but they might have multiple. It tells you kind of when it was created, the name, who created it. There's a description. And then we can create bulletins. So that would just be like an announcement that nobody would be able to necessarily comment on. Then discussions. So we could have discussions where people can reply to those specific discussions. People can write on the wall, and then people could comment on those things that people have written on the wall. Okay. So it's really kind of like a big group chat Facebook page is kind of how I relate it. And this will show you any photo albums, any members that are a part, who the admin is. And then we can create additional discussions, upload photos, create photo albums, invite other people to the circle, or of course, leave the circle. And then if there's ever any funny business going on, they can always report the circle, and I'll show you where that information goes.
Okay.
Then we have our inbox. So that's just going to be messages that we can write, our sent messages, messages sitting in our inbox. If there's ever a message sent, if somebody wants to join somebody else's circle, if there's any type of notification, of course I could receive an email, but also there's going to be this big red tab over here on the right-hand side, which conveniently there is here for us. So I could click on this tab and it's going to show us exactly what's going on. So somebody asked to be my connection. It looks like 2 people asked to be my connection, so I could approve or remove these.
Okay. Sometimes I get requests from members asking if they can have our email list or our mailing list so that they can send out materials on a meeting or whatever the topic is. We typically tell them no. Is this a workaround for them if they go in and make a connection with all of our members, which I suppose in theory they could, then they could send a message to all of our members?
Are these members that you're talking about, or are they just regular people?
They're members.
So if you're concerned about that, when you start going through the attribute security, I would just not allow the people's emails to be shared. So like, if I go back to this attribute security, you could decide, okay, here's somebody's email address. I don't want this to be shared. So you're just going to toggle all of this off.
But so they're no longer going to be able to email them, but they could send them a message through the profile system?
Ah, so they could direct message them, yes, but they'd have to direct message every single individual privately. And that would, okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, so that's not something they could do en masse to everyone that they have a connection with. They would have to do it individually?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, if they want to go to that much effort, more power to them.
And I want to say, I mean, you would have to have them as a connection. So they would have to connect with every single person and then have to write every single individual connection an email or a message. If that ever happens, I mean, I would be pretty ticked off. So I would probably come in here, find that individual. Timothy Shady, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And I can just block that user or report that user, and you'll see that that person's been reported on the back end, and you can take action if you need to.
Okay. Well, I did also notice a couple screens ago, there was a limit. You can send 30 messages a day.
Yes. Oops. Right. That's exactly right.
Okay. Sweet. I think we're fine then.
Okay. The last little piece of the social community before we jump to the back end is my community. That's the same thing as your Facebook feed. So it's just showing you what all your connections have been up to in the system recently. So it just kind of shows you what's been going on.
Okay.
You can view either just like everybody in the social community, or you can see what just you and your connections have been up to if you don't care about any of that other noise.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Any questions over the front end of this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I do have a question. When we roll out this new site to our members, is there kind of a normal email message or some sort of instructions that people have sent out to their members? I mean, because all these features are super cool, but people might not know how to use them.
So I created, oh look, you've already been doing this in here. I didn't create anything. I'm going to create a welcome email in here for you. Now, something I can suggest, and that I've had a lot of associations start doing, is Mary Sue, who is in our maximization team, is started creating customized social community videos in your product for your members. that you can post in that social community member landing page area. Would you be interested in that? I think it's like $35.
Yeah, we might be. That might be a great idea.
I'll get her to reach out to you.
Okay.
And she can give you some prices and stuff like that. But I think it's just really a cool thing. I think I've got an example video somewhere. But anyways, it's really helpful. I mean, $35 is like nothing. So
yeah. Yep. I would be interested in learning more about that.
Awesome. I will get her to reach out to you. I'm going to put that on my little to-do list really fast. Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm going to ask you, are you logged into the back end by chance?
No.
Can you log into the back end?
Maybe.
I can give you do you need your credentials?
I bet I do.
That's okay.
Tell me where to go again.
So you're going to go to MIAOT.memberclicks.net/administrator.
Okay, and my username?
It is C. Jensen, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, C. Jensen. And then for your password, try all caps MIAOT.
And I'm in, just like that.
Cool. So I just made you the presenter.
Okay.
And it should just send you a little request. It should take like 2 little seconds.
Yeah. Show my screen is what you're wanting?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So I just am doing this on your side because for my admin screen, there's a lot of extra stuff that I don't want you to have to see because it gets confusing. So if you will walk under the community tab at the very tippy top on the left, and you're going to go down to social community. Perfect. We're going to just kind of review some of these social community tabs. So this page brings you to just some overall statistics, how many users you have in your social community, how many blocked users you have, the total activity updates, how many photos have been uploaded, how many circle discussions are going on. The right-hand box is basically the same thing. It's just showing you how many total published circles you have, how many unpublished circles you have, and then how many circle categories you have created, which right now you only have that single main category that we looked at together.
Okay.
Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. If you will click on that configuration button for me, that second tab, and I'm about to say the word circle about 600 times. I apologize in advance.
Okay, good.
I like to start down here in the very bottom right-hand corner. So see where it says default user email and notifications.
Yep.
These are all about notifications that the system can send out in regards to the social community. My recommendation is to leave all of these off except for receive system emails. You, of course, want your members to receive system emails from MemberClicks. This is like receive wall comments, receive circle wall post, receive circle photo post. I mean, this becomes a lot unless your members just really love to be informed about everything that's going on all the time. I would suggest leaving these off for the most part. Do you have any questions on that?
Okay. Nope, that makes sense to have them as the default, but then the user has the opportunity to change that if they so choose.
That's right. So remember when we looked in contact preferences from the member profile? Right there, if they decided as an individual, hey, I really want to know, what's going on, then they can turn all of these on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, great.
Then above here, so I mentioned that those privacy settings are by default everyone in the social community. So you'll notice there's connection privacy, photo privacy. That's what this default means. traditionally, I have always seen my associations leave it at all community users can see, people's connections and people's photos. As an individual, once again, your members can go in and limit that access. But if you get enough complaints or whatever it is, you can always turn this off so that only connections can see connections, only connections can see photos, or even only the individual themselves can see their own information.
Okay.
Starting at the top on the left-hand column, we looked at that activity stream together. I said this is similar to the Facebook feed. That just shows you how many default activities are going to pop up. They can select, if you remember, there was like a more bar at the bottom. So if they wanted to go back further, they can select more to see more activities that are going on. You can expand or limit this number, but 20 seems to be kind of the hot spot, the sweet spot.
Okay.
Same for kind of the rest of this. So default activity. So same thing when we were looking at that Facebook feed area. By default, it's everybody in the social community. If instead you wanted the default to be just me and my users, you can use that drop down and change it. But generally, it's fine just with everybody in there.
Okay.
When we were looking at the profile on the left-hand column, one of the first things I pointed out was on the far right-hand column, it would show you any most recent photos that have been updated or any most recent circles that have been created. So in that area, that's going to show you up to 20 of the most recent photos that have been added, up to 5 of the most recent circles that have been created. You can once again limit or expand these numbers, but that seems to be so far pretty fitting for what our associations have needed. So we just kind of by default threw that in there for you.
Okay.
The rest of these are either we can show or hide. So we can either show who's online or hide who's online, show the latest members that have been added or hide the latest members that have been added, show the activity stream or take that activity stream together all away, which is that Facebook feed I mentioned, show the latest circles or show the latest photos. So once again, these bottom two, there are those I mentioned, like I said in the right-hand column, show the latest photos that have been added, show the most recent circles that have been added. We can totally take away those boxes if you don't want anybody to see latest photos or latest circles. Yeah, and it gives you little, cool.
Okay, and this one was so, oh, I'm glad I could teach you. Teach the teacher. So the show latest members, that's referring to people who have been accepted into membership of us overall, not into a circle.
Correct.
Or is it specifically, okay, all right. Got it.
Correct. Yeah, I did not know it did that for you guys. I don't think mine does that. That's awesome.
Well, we're kind of special that way.
Yeah. Awesome. Any questions on any of these items?
Just this one, the reset existing users' privacy. Does that mean that if I change these in this default user privacy, it's going to negate anything that anybody has individualized?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
That's exactly right. Okay, any other questions?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay, cool. So now we're going to select that circles tab.
Okay.
As circles are created in here, they will all be listed in this area. You'll be able to see the circle descriptions, the administrators of the circle, whether these circles have been published or not, and how many members are in each of these circles.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, can you hear that?
I can a little bit. What is that?
Somebody's screaming outside my window. That is not okay. They're going to have to cut that out. That is a little scary. I don't know. So we've got all these circles going on. And then, so this is where the circle administrator will be added. You can change who the circle administrator is in this area. There'll be like a drop down and you can select somebody else. You can also tag these circles, and you'll notice using these icons in the top right-hand corner, you can publish or unpublish them. So if there's a circle that doesn't make you happy, you can always just unpublish it. Now you'll notice down here at the bottom, And same thing with delete. You can also just delete any of them.
Okay.
Down here at the bottom, enable circles means that yes, circles are turned on. Moderate circle creation. So right now that's marked as no. Oh, this is so cool. I'm so glad to see this. So this basically just means that your members can create circles, but they're going to be unpublished until you approve them and publish them.
Oh, okay. And people find that no is the best default?
Yeah. So what I would suggest, it's just going to create more work for you. Because you're going to have to, people are probably going to be going, Colleen, I made a circle. I want you to approve it so everybody can see it and blah, blah, blah. So instead, I would just allow your members, if you feel comfortable, allow them to create circles whenever they want to. And then if they start abusing it, then you can always change it and make it so that you have to approve it before it can be accepted. Does that make sense?
Yep, got it.
Okay. I was peeking out my window to see
where the police are.
Yeah, I'm like, do I need to? I don't see anybody. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's so no problem. Security is important.
A little alarming. So then we've got our allow circle creation. So if your members, if you really just don't want them to be able to create circles at all, you can be the one who creates all the circles and invites people to them if you want to. Right now it's marked as yes, meaning they can create these circles, but you can always mark that as no, and that's going to be what takes away that little circle creation button that I showed you on the My Profile area.
Okay.
Then we have, what's right below that?
Circle creation limit.
Oh, I think your screen might have frozen. I see, circle creation limit. Yep, nope, we're good. So that just means that we can create up to 300 circles. Each circle can have up to 500 photos. I don't think you will ever need to expand this number. You could limit it if you wanted to start off with a smaller number to see how it goes. If you feel like your members are going to get in here and go circle crazy, but overall,
yeah, you won't see that happening.
Yeah. Enable circle discussions, meaning that people can have discussions within your circles, and then enable notifications. So yes, the reason we have circles is so your members can communicate. Once again, no to those notifications because it can become a lot. Okay.
Agreed.
Any questions?
Nope, I don't think so.
Cool. All right, so the next tab is circle categories. And so these circle categories are where you can create new categories to hold other circles within them. So if you wanted to create an overall conference circle or conference category, or maybe like an events category, you can do that using that new icon in the top right-hand corner. And then at that point, when your members begin to create circles, they can choose different categories. This will show you how many circles are in each of those categories and how many total members are a part of that category as well.
Okay.
That one's a pretty easy peasy one.
Mm-hmm.
Two last little things, view reported items. So here we can, this is where we'll be able to view the items that have been reported. It's going to show you, when you report somebody, it gives you like a little drop down, like, so you can select why you're reporting them. So you could say profanity or online bullying, or they have some other kind of little options in there. So you'll be able to view exactly what they've reported. It'll give you a link, so you can click on that link and it'll show you exactly where, like what went wrong, what happened that they didn't appreciate seeing. And it'll show you the date that it's submitted on. So you can delete that request. You can do kind of treat it however you want to treat it.
Okay.
And then lastly, we just have this community permissions piece. So if you select that, this is just determining who gets to be a part of your social community. If you, for whatever reason, didn't want the out-of-state active or the retired to be part of those directories or anything like that, you could just untag them. Otherwise, they'll be included in your directories and directory searches and connections and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, great.
And that is everything. Any questions on any of this back-end stuff, the front-end stuff, kind of anything at all?
Not on social communities. I think I'm good. I did have a question when you had clicked through and assumed the profile of one of the members, so it came up with the hello, my name is. And I know that you had mentioned in one of our earlier tutorials that I could change what that looked like.
Sort of. We change, so basically it's so yes. So are you wanting to get rid of the name tag altogether or just change the verbiage on the name tag?
Well, I'm wondering about, so it's currently showing what looks to me like a man's suit.
Yes.
Wondering, since we're all physicians, if I would have an opportunity to change that into a doctor's coat.
I do have a doctor's coat actually. Let me see if I can show you. A long time ago. I had these. Haha. Oh, it's not. I thought I had a doctor's coat. It's really just a lady suit. Let me show you. Let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see you.
So it's like this little kind of lady suit option. I thought we did have a doctor's suit. Would this be more fitting?
No, then I think that's too far on the female side. I mean, because that one's clearly a woman.
So we have these solids, or we could just do like just a photo of something else if you wanted to change it all together.
Yeah, so for now, let's just leave it on the men's suit, and I'll think on that one a little bit.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, just let me know what you might want this changed to. I wanted to show you one other thing before I X out of my screen, which I already did. Are you still on your screen by chance?
I am.
If you will, I kind of just wanted to point this out to you, and you might have already been here, but just to make sure, if you go all the way down into the right-hand corner, do you see that blue question mark?
Hold on, I need to get back to my own screen.
Yes, ma'am.